With Weston McKennie out for the final World Cup qualifying window, it begs the question on how Gregg Berhalter will replace him. Honestly, there's no like-for-like player that can do everything that McKennie does in the midfield for the U.S. men's national team. Really, he's improved so much in just his move to Juve that it's honestly incredible to see how much he's improved in this past couple of seasons. He's an engine in the midfield who's just can do everything. Honestly, he wins duels. Now he's improved so much technically. He creates chances. He finishes chances. He gets in great spots. Of course, I said he wins duels. He wins the ball. He gets stuck in. He does everything. He's honestly the engine of the U.S. men's national team. It's a big miss, but really, if the U.S. men's national team cannot qualify for the World Cup without him, that just shows a lot of the problems with Gregg's system, that we have to rely on one player so much to and without him, the idea that without him we would not be able to qualify or get enough points to qualify is a joke. And I think it's a lot to do with Gregg's system personally, that he relies a lot on McKennie and builds it around, has kind of built the system around him being the engine, especially with the dual eights. And I think personally, a lot of people think we should be moving to like a 4-2-3-1 play with a double pivot in the midfield. We aren't going to see him likely play with a number 10. I don't see it happening. We have seen him play Brendan Aronson in the midfield once, and that was not the best performance from him, but he needs to be higher up in between the lines. That's just how Aronson is, and Aronson was asked to come back to the ball way too much in that match. So we'll see, because I really think playing a double pivot midfield would get the most out of the team at the moment. In the attack, you could have Pulisic, Pepe Weah, Aronson as the 10, and De La Torre or Musa playing a double pivot with Adams. I don't see it happening, though, so it's more likely that we see Berhalter continue to play with dual eights. I think versus Mexico, we could see De La Torre, Musa, and Adams in the midfield. As much as I hate to say it, though, I would not be surprised if we see Kellen Acosta get a look as an 8 over De La Torre versus Mexico. Berhalter has stated constantly how much he kind of values the ability to win duels, and I think in a rivalry match like this one against Mexico, obviously, it would not be a shock if he asked Acosta to play a role as a number 8. He's terrible as an 8, in my opinion. He's a number 6 for us. He just seems out of place all the time when he's played as an 8, and even against Bosnia, he looked awful in that role, and I just don't think it should happen. But I would not be surprised as Berhalter. This is looking at it from Berhalter's perspective, trying to read his mind, and that is just attempting to read it. That's what I think we could see happening. Because I don't think Berhalter is going to give other players who deserve a chance, like Alan Sonora or Georgi Mihalovic, meaningful minutes. Even if he calls them up, I think it would just be to get a look at them in this last camp, and it's likely if they get minutes, it would be in the Nations League or in some friendlies before a possible World Cup. I'm not going to say we're going to the World Cup, because you never know this after what happened last time. But I think the midfielders that Berhalter is going to utilize in McKennie's absence really would be Musa, De La Torre, Gianluca Busio, Kellen Acosta possibly, and then maybe Brendan Aronson if Berhalter decides to come around and switch to a 4-2-3-1. And then if Reina is available, maybe he could play as a late game sub for 20-30 minutes as either an 8 or 10. He could play as both. I think Reina really could. We've seen him play as kind of one of the shuttlers in a diamond midfield, so he can track back, but obviously Reina is best as far up as possible. I think Adams, De La Torre, and Musa would be a great midfield partnership, especially against an aging Mexico and Costa Rica side. Maybe one of them will be rotated out versus Panama, but I do think with 3-match window, what kind of make things interesting to see how rotations will happen if they happen. I feel like maybe this isn't the time you rotate. I mean, players will be very tired, obviously, but this is for a chance at the World Cup, so I don't think you rotate as much here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see Acosta next to Musa against Mexico, unfortunately. So we'll see how that goes. But there certainly are many options to kind of navigate without having McKennie. I think you have De La Torre and Musa. You have two guys who are very good on the ball, and De La Torre is very good at creating chances in the final third. Obviously, he's also played a double pivot before, so if we do play a 4-2-3-1, he could certainly fill that role. I think him and Musa do a good job when they do win the ball deep like that, getting forward and pushing forward, pushing the tempo. And I think De La Torre, what is better at than Musa is getting into those half spaces and looking for that final pass. I think that's what De La Torre is a lot better at than Musa. And I think Musa is more that kind of player who kind of drives the defense from deeper positions and maybe doesn't always have that final ball. So I think they can work together, and certainly they have some similar strengths, but I think De La Torre is just a little bit better, where he could give us that kind of that quality in the final third to break down defenses, and I think that is what certainly could be the difference in these last 3 matches of this big final World Cup qualifying window. But let me know your thoughts, guys. I mean, I think in general, I just don't think we'd see too much rotation without McKennie. Like I said, if we do, I think it would likely be Acosta. I'm not sure how much at this moment Busio is maybe trusted or other players are trusted. I mean, even I think you could maybe possibly see Leggett or Rodon get some minutes, but I think they're being phased out at this point. But you never know with Berhalter, you never know. But I likely think the midfielders used in the absence of McKennie are going to be Musa, De La Torre, maybe Acosta, possibly Busio. And if we're lucky, we get to see Reina or Aronson in the midfield, preferably as a number 10 and double pivot. With that, guys, thank you all for tuning again. Leave your thoughts, how you think Berhalter is going to approach this. Let me know what you would want to see. I think I've kind of made it clear I want to see that double pivot, that 4-2-3-1. I think would be great, because I think what we're lacking really is having a option in the final third. Someone who's looking to get in those spaces to pick out that final pass. That's really what we lacked against Canada. I think that is something that De La Torre can bring if he's allowed to have that freedom to get forward. I think you saw it in the final match there, the last World Cup qualifying window. He's always trying to get in those half spaces and connect and make things happen. So with that, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, let me know what you think's going to happen. Exciting World Cup qualifying window. I think we may have a live watch along with me and my girl who is Mexican for the Mexico match. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested to see. With that, guys, thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button. I love you. I'll be saying on now, and I'll catch you guys later.